So hi.
Hello. Here we go.
How you doing?
Okay.
You good?
I'm hanging in there. I
Cool.
was I had some insomnia last night, so I barely could sleep. I'm running on like 3 hours of sleep right now. So
Oh, mate.
we'll see how it goes.
That's not good.
Yeah,
I'm a big sleeper. 3 hours I would be the crankiest of cranky wenches. Yeah. No.
It was hard, and my D&D night is tonight, so I also
Oh.
had to run a game, and I was like,
Wow.
yeah, it was a lot. But you know what? It's okay. I try to keep a positive outlook on everything, so
Well, that's good.
we'll get through it.
Cool. This is very chilled. Don't let it stress you out. The idea behind it was just to try and give people some insight into who you are and who your character is, and hopefully get them a little more invested. So we're kind of doing that I'm doing this with obviously everyone who's in round 2. And I'm just going to ask you a few questions. We can have a bit of a chat, but it's very chilled and informal, so
Okay.
don't stress.
Let me pull up my character.
Yeah. I'm sure you know him in your brain. I'm not going to ask you difficult questions about your stats or anything. It's not a test.
I appreciate it. I don't know. I want to have his backstory up just in case.
Yeah, okay. No, fair enough. All right. So let's start with, how did you end up in our arena?
That's a good question. By not getting kicked out as many times as what's his name? It was a bad joke. No,
Kyle.
Kyle, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
By not getting kicked out as many times as Kyle. So I think I only completed one of the races, and he completed none of them. So I ended up winning by default.
So you would have discovered us through Critter Gifting, right?
Yeah. No, you know what it was? It was the that secret group project that was being worked on at one point.
Yeah.
That was where I met you, and then I ended up adding you on Facebook. And through that, I of course have added like all of the groups and kind of follow everything ultimately. So that's where it started.
I'm still sad that never eventuated, but it just got too hard.
You know what's funny is I just checked it like yesterday because I hadn't heard anything in so long, and then I noticed that it hadn't been posted in for like over a year.
It just now we're talking about something no one knows what we're talking about because it was a secret project, but it was a thing that we were trying to do, but it turned out that it was just too hard to keep driving it with everything else that I have going on. So yeah,
it was really ambitious. It was a cool idea.
It was very ambitious. It was, but you know, very ambitious things are my bread and butter.
Yeah, that's right.
So
anyway, I saw.
Just goes to show that not all my crazy projects actually turn into something useful. Some of them just die.
Well, the Facebook group's still there, so maybe it can get resurrected one day.
Maybe one day. Probably its time has passed now, though, to be honest.
Wow, okay,
I suspect.
I understand.
Yeah.
I kind of had backed away from it. Because I had tried, of course, my life, I went into so many different directions at this point, like by the time, like months later, but like at the time I was doing a lot. So I tried to work on one chapter, and I did, but then when time came to like sign up for another one, I'm like, I need to not do this right now because this is a little bit much. And
it was a big thing. Anyway, it didn't happen, but it's all good. I met a lot of awesome people as a result, and honestly, the success of Critter Gifting probably has a lot to do with that initial like community that we formed back then. So I'll take it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I think Critter Gifting would have grown anyway, but I think that that first like push happened because I was already in touch with so many people as a result of that. Anyway, wow, tangent. Okay, so that would have been where you first discovered, where we became Facebook friends, and so you would have seen my arena stuff that way. Cool. What made you do it?
Honestly, I like this idea. The whole ladder thing.
So do I.
It's a good idea. It's one of those things where it's something I never really considered. I've done many battle royales, and I mostly ran. So here's the thing: I'm mostly DM. I am like pretty much full-time DM. It coincides with my job. It's like it's my life pretty much. So I rarely ever get to play, and I prefer it that way, but when the occasional chance rises to play a character in a really unique kind of way,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where I just couldn't like say no.
Not do
You
it.
know, it
Yeah.
was yeah, it was I was like, this is kind of a cool. I know it's not going to be technically once in a lifetime because like I think I'm assuming you're going to do it again. 'Cause
Yeah, we're
honestly, it
definitely
seems
going to
like
do
it's
it again.
working.
It won't be
Yeah.
exactly in this form because we've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't work. So there will be a lot of tweaking before the next one. But, you guys have been our guinea pigs.
Well, I'm glad to be because it's been a lot of fun. I think it was a great idea, and hopefully I'll just win. So we'll see. After
Hopefully
being
you'll
kicked
just
out once, second time's a charm, right? That's how it works.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because you were our, like, someone dropped out and you got their spot by the
Yeah.
gods of the marble races.
No, that one was the who was it? Neve. Neve dropped out in the
Yeah.
second round,
Oh,
and
that's right.
then
Yeah, that's what
it
I
was
mean.
the vote. It was the
Oh,
vote
the
on
vote.
Discord.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yes. No, you're right. Yeah.
And
Did you
I
just
ended
like enlist all your people? Because suddenly
Oh.
my Discord got a lot of new people all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, I
love
was
it.
on. So I have a game night with friends every like Tuesday where we play some video games together, and I was on Discord with them and was like, "Hey, you guys should vote."
need to do
And
this
then
thing.
they're like, "You got to spread it around." And all of a sudden they started like telling some of their friends that did it,
Nice.
and yeah, it just kind of blew up, and
That's kind of great.
it was
So
good.
your friends
It was
got
good.
you in, or got you
Yeah,
back in.
yeah. It
Cool.
was and my D&D group. Shout out to them because
Yeah.
most of them also came in and voted. So it was kind of a nice
Yeah.
group thing. So
Sweet. Cool. All right. Let's talk about Kilvin. Tell me about him. Let's start with just tell me a little bit about him as a character. Let's start with that.
Well, I think the best way to describe him is charismatic fool. He definitely, in a way, is full of himself, and I think he's kind of just been used to that because he's been good at what he does for
Yeah.
a while. Obviously, it's hard when you talk about Kilvin because you can kind of reference his past life before he was named Kilvin. His name was Steermere or Steerme. I think it was Nordic based, if I remember correctly.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it has that sound to it.
That was kind of my goal. One of the things I like to do in my games, in my home game, is relate cultures to real life cultures and like languages to real life languages. And so that was kind of my thought when I made this, was to like incorporate that. And then of course he's been kind of plucked out of that universe and brought into this weird arena where he just kind of goes with the flow and hopes he does his best. But I think a crowd pleaser is a good way to like label him.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Yeah. There's definitely some showmanship there, I've noticed.
Yeah, my walking out and taking the risk of trying to just like, it was one of those things where I felt when I was in that moment, when me as a person was in that moment, I was like, honestly, he wouldn't want to like hide behind this pillar all game.
Yeah.
He was ready to walk out and be like, fight me, and just like come on head. And it caused him to lose, but like at the same time, it was a good show, and that's kind of the important thing to him.
Yep.
So
Cool. So how did you get to him? Like, what inspired you in terms of creating this character?
So I came at it from a mechanical standpoint initially. My really early like idea with him was to create something. I wanted to build a rogue. I love swashbuckler rogue because I love the kind of one-on-one duel, and it fits really well with this ladder style.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it really is like, and it makes rogue viable in this setting.
Yeah.
So with that, I kind of took that mechanical standpoint and then crafted the backstory around that. And that's actually why I chose the specific subrace that I did for Tiefling, was because he gained that Ray of Frost ability.
Yeah.
And that was kind of my crutch for a long range spell,
Yeah.
specifically at level 1,
Yeah.
because I didn't have a bonus action hide. I didn't have a bonus action dash. All the good stuff that makes rogue was not there yet, and I needed something to survive that early game. And with that, I mean, I also have something planned in regards to this. His I'm not gonna say what it is.
You
but
don't say
in regards
because
to it,
these will go live before your fight, so you don't want to give
yeah.
anything away.
So I won't give anything away, but I do have something planned with his sub race, and its uses to really utilize it in a full kind of aspect.
Yeah.
That a rogue can utilize it, which I'm really excited for. But that was how I started, and then the backstory. I'll be honest, I don't know. I don't
Just
remember
made
where
it
I
up.
came up with it. I mean, with Critical Role, obviously, I watch a lot of
Yeah.
Critical Role. I think a lot of it comes up with like Nott's backstory. I really like the idea of how she kind of came to be. I won't spoil anything, obviously, but
Yeah.
I like that idea, and so I kind of wanted to. And I've never built a character with that idea in mind, and so I kind of wanted to build a character along the same lines.
Right.
And that was kind of how it developed into two. I mean, in a way, two characters, because he starts out as one
Yeah.
thing, moves into a different thing. That's
Yeah.
kind of how that developed. And then I don't know. I just like story writing, so.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get that one.
Yeah.
So at this stage in his life, how long has he been a tiefling? Is this a new thing, or has it been around for a while?
It's brand new. It's like 6 months or so.
Oh
I
wow.
believe, if I
Okay.
remember correctly.
All right.
It's
Cool.
very recent to him.
So how much has that, from like a character point of view, how much do you think that has influenced his desire to be in this contest?
I think that's about 95% of his reason. And the reason is because in his mind, a victory is a victory for Levistus.
Right.
That's where he sees it as is.
Okay.
He's in a way he's spreading that kind of demonic religion, if you will, or
Right.
demonic name.
So he's an
without-
evangelist, basically.
Yeah, kind of. That's yeah. And I know like this whole competition's in the name of someone else, so he's definitely, as a character, not making it very well known
Sure.
yet.
Yep.
But that's definitely something to kind of develop, assuming he continues on. Somewhere into
Although
my next bout.
she's like in my head, she's kind of a demigod, so she has enough power to make her own pocket universe and like control it and all that. But she also, like, we molded that with Rugmore leaving, which was largely because I was like, yo, I need you on tech support. You can't be in this. So we then had to come up with a way to, but because he is a paladin, we just like told the story of his god had been like tapped her on the shoulder and gone, hey, I need my guy back. And she was like, ah, fuck, you're stronger than me. All right, I suppose you can have him. I'll bring the bard back. She's entertaining, you know, like.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So I don't think there's necessarily a contradiction there, is what I'm trying to say. Like, I feel like she's a small god who has just enough respect for the bigger ones that she's not going to ruffle any feathers.
Yeah, not gonna.
She's a small god playing at being a big god in a tiny little universe.
Yeah. Well, it's good. I think it's a good. I mean, from character standpoint, I think it's a good opportunity for him to be able to kind of spread that name. Like, look at these strengths and abilities I've gained by doing this.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. So who are you fighting in your second round bout? Do you know off the top of your head?
So
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I actually wanted to ask you to double check. I believe it's Serial.
Let me have a look. Let me look that up for you. One moment, please. Because I have a list.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. So the only reason I say that is because that was who Neve was going to fight.
Oh yeah, so then it would be. Because
so
I just slotted you in there.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
I'm pretty sure. Let's double check it, but yeah. So we're gonna have a tiefling rogue against a half-elf cleric. In that case, which is a very interesting combination.
Well, she better be ready for anything I throw at her.
I'm sure she will be.
I'm
Let's have a look. Yeah. So you're fighting Sariel.
Yeah.
So what do you think are your chances there? How much have you watched her other fights? Obviously, you were in the last one, but like
I watched the last one. I don't think I watched. I think I had my class in the middle of the one that she's in before.
Okay.
So I don't think I was actually able to watch hers, unfortunately. I will say I knew she was a cleric from the 4v4. I kind of knew somewhat what I'm kind of getting myself into a little bit. Granted, I don't think she dealt a single point of damage. Maybe she did.
She spent a lot of time healing people, I think,
exactly.
She was very much playing support, which obviously is a cleric's usual thing, so...
Yeah, it makes sense, and to that, I definitely don't know where kind of that underlying... Because, like, clerics are awesome and crazy. So I know there's an underlying power that I don't think we got to see in that battle. I'm just hoping that the strategy I came up with will work. But we'll see. I mean, as a rogue, I'm very squishy.
Yeah.
In fact, I think squishy is an understatement.
I guess
I'm glad I'm not a
like
wizard.
crazy initiative and stuff, though.
That's true. I have +8 to initiative. That's kind of what I'm banking on because we're not doing prep spells or anything. If I can do like the two prep things I need before we kind of engage. I think I will have the big upper hand. So we'll see. Like I said, I'm not going to reveal anything.
It's kind of interesting because you two have both sort of flown under the radar a little bit, so it'll be interesting to see you come up against each other and see what you can do.
Yeah, by all rights, I shouldn't even be here, so there's that. I think under the radar is almost an understatement.
It's kind of good, though. It's cool because, like you say, a level 1 rogue, a lot of the stuff that makes rogues cool isn't in effect yet. So
level 2.
Yeah.
Plus, then the swashbucklers until level 3, and that's when you get all your extra charisma and the ability to attack someone and leave combat without a attack of opportunity. Like that is disgusting and awesome. So
also the sneak attack thing is pretty useful too.
Yeah. I mean, so level 6, I have 3d6, I think, on my sneak attack, which means assuming I hit every time, which is a assumption, but
sure.
I will deal a bunch of, a good chunk of extra damage every time. So we'll see.
Cool. So we are, from next week, when we start round 2, we're going to try to implement a betting system in chat, where essentially people can use their channel points as if they were gold pieces, right, and bet on the characters. It's dependent on Adam having time to sort that out before the stream, but that's the plan. So my question for you is, if you were not in this contest, who would you be betting on?
I don't know how good of a chance he'll have in the final kind of rounds, but is it Dion?
Yep, Dion, the setter. Yeah.
Dion. That was some. I mean, I loved his maneuver, frankly. In the 4v4, that was so great. It was something that I had already thought about. When I first looked at this map, one of the first things I thought of was if anyone gets up to that ledge, what I'm gonna do is literally run up and push them. Yeah. So it was something that I was really glad to see, but I just really liked the kind of build idea that he's gone with that character. And if I were to place bets on anyone, in fact, I think he's the person I fear the most.
Yeah.
Granted, as a rogue, I'm a little slippery, so pinning me down will be hard. But if he can, I am SOL. So, well, that's where my money would be on. I don't know which match he is. I think he's the same week.
He's playing Eclipsis in the next match. So she has something. She has some retribution like vibe going on there.
Is that who he threw into the?
Yeah, that's who he threw into the lava. Yeah.
So now I'm really voting for him because she's the one I ran up, tried to hit, miss, and then she smited me in the face and almost killed me in one shot. So I'm really rooting for him now.
That's fair. Yeah, John is someone I have known for a long time. John and I have been friends for like more than a decade. We worked together like back in Dunedin. So he's actually a real life friend, someone I met in the real world and not on the internet.
That's awesome.
But he is one of those, he's a loophole boy. He's very, very good at finding the loopholes and exploiting them. So I've got to be really freaking careful. Every time he asks me a question, I'm like, wait, I need to check this because I know how your brain works.
He's a DM, right?
Yeah, he actually mentors DMs even. So yeah.
Oh, see, I saw that in him. I totally when
Yeah.
when we were playing. I don't remember if he said it ever, but I remember when we were playing. I could just like see it based on the way he was playing, the idea he came up with, the strategy he kind of had.
Yeah.
So.
He's also a programmer, so he has that like really analytic approach to things. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot.
But yeah. So I'm very that fight, that Eclipses Dion fight is going to be very interesting because Megan is also a very creative, strategic player. So, and people underestimate her because she's such a sweet girl, right? But
yeah, I mean, I definitely I could see that she. What I don't know, how do I put this? I don't want to sound mean because I'm not trying to sound mean in this situation at all. I could see that she wanted to make sure that everything was by the book.
It was legit, yeah.
Yeah, like that's I agree with her in that realm, and that's the same. I get it. I 100% agree with it. So, no, I totally kind of picked up on that, but I'm still voting for Dion.
Because she smited you.
Yeah, because she smited me right in the face, and I had to run away like a pansy.
Fair enough.
This was a great moment.
That's great. I totally lost my train of thought now. So, if... Oh, I know what I was going to say. What does it mean to Kilvin to win this? If he won it, what would it mean to him as a character?
To him, it would mean fulfilling a promise.
Oh, yeah. To his
that is
deity?
To his... If you can,
patron, whatever you want to call him.
I think patron is a better way to put it, even though he's not a warlock. I don't think he doesn't get powers from him.
Yeah.
But he kind of, in a way, he's like forced servitude, kind of. But at the same time, I think he welcomes it because he has an innate fear of death. And dying, and granted, he was very young when he died, when the first time. Yeah. So, which is not something
like 6 months ago, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're right. Which was 6 months ago. So to him, he made a promise that he plans on keeping, and because in his eyes, I think he knows that Levistus is inherently evil, as are all devils. But he kind of sees compassion, and not even he sees compassion, but also he relates to him, seeing that Levistus is trapped in a prison of his own. And because of that, his promise to him is kind of something of utmost importance. And even if it's not like the good thing to do, spreading his name and basically kind of encouraging a cult in a way, it's something that he feels he really has to do, and in not a forced way necessarily, even though it kind of is, but in a I owe it to this person, or
like an obligation rather than a
an obligation. That's the way to put it. Yeah.
Cool. So he would see winning this as a way of fulfilling that obligation.
Yeah, I think ultimately, like, a victory here is not only a victory for Levistus, but proof that his strength is mighty. Yeah, that's the word I want. Mighty. It took me a minute there, but it's cool. Mighty. His strength is mighty, and can help people, legitimately help people, because it literally brought him back from the dead. So. Yeah.
Cool. All right. I have one more question for you, and this is more just Jax being a curious cat, because I am. So we created this thing pretty just on the fly. We've been basically making it up as we went along. As we've gone, we've like tweaked stuff and jiggled stuff and to try and like make it better as we, progressed through the thing, because we really didn't know what we were doing. We were just inventing it.
Yeah, it was.
So I guess my question to you is, because I want to know what it's like as a player to be in this thing that is in my brain. Especially in regards to like the points where I try to surprise you, whether that's anxiety inducing or fun or both. Yeah, you tell me what has the experience been like for you so far?
Well, I know like initial reaction is I've had a lot of fun.
Yay.
So there's
that's
that.
good.
Like it's I think
That's
I
like my
know
number
there's
one
been
priority, really, at the end of the day.
well, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I know there's been like small hiccups here and there, but like ultimately it's never felt like it impacted anything in a meaningful way.
Okay.
As is kind of anything that you do, you're always working on it to try to make it better because there's always a better.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, right. So I think in the kind of back end portion of it, with all like the characters in the background and everything like that, I mean I really don't have like very many complaints.
That's
I
good.
think if you were to do this again, I think like keeping it all on one platform would be a better situation. Like if
Yeah.
everyone was on Roll20 rather
Yep.
than having your character on D&D
Yep.
Beyond and then switching to Roll20.
Yeah, that was one of those functions of us moving along and being like, oh, we actually probably need to have a way to do dice that isn't people just rolling on their desks, because eventually this may reach a point where it needs to be more transparent than that. And
Yeah,
we couldn't work out how to do that on D&D Beyond with OBS, so we went to Roll20. But yes, I think you're right about that. Yeah.
But like overall, I mean everything's been pretty like just cool and chill. Like I don't know. I wish I had more complaints because I would like to help you improve it.
No, that's cool. Like for me, I want people to be enjoying themselves. Like that's my number one thing. I want the players to be having a good time, and I want the audience to be enjoying coming on the journey. I never expected it to be perfect this time around. You guys 100% are the people we are experimenting on, and you've all been awesome sports about that, which is great. Like
everyone has been, and like you know, it's been really cordial. I feel like as far as like the Discord is concerned, you know, there's no one's
being
super mad
a jackass.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's really good.
I mean, I think that some of that is just from us drawing from our friend group, I think, like that, because, we have good people in our lives. So obviously, if we draw from that group of people, we're going to get up good people. I guess if this becomes bigger, that may become a problem, because we may have to vet people or like put stricter behavior rules in or something. I don't know. But at this point, it's not really at that stage, so there's no point worrying about it.
Yeah, no, like I said, I think ultimately, I've had a lot of fun, and I appreciate you and kind of everyone that's been working on it. Cat wants to come in. You and everyone that's been working on it, from putting the time in that you have, because I know like it's another side thing to do. So
yeah. I'm a maniac.
I mean, it's ambitious. It's ambition is a good ambition is a good thing. So.
Yeah, that's like I said, it's my jam.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do this little gift exchange. She said 3 years ago. It'll be easy. I can spreadsheet.
Oh man. Yeah. Then how many people signed up for it again?
At the moment, we're sitting on about 1,400 for this year.
Oh my! I wish I could have done it this year.
Which is more than last year.
Yeah,
and it's probably less than it would have been, but I think a lot of people have, financial, like they can't afford it. I think that's just the situation this year, but
especially in the U.S. It's ridiculous here.
Yeah, like more than.
Yeah. I guess
we can't all be in New Zealand.
You know where I went? I went to last summer. I went to Canada for the first time, Vancouver.
Oh, yeah?
It was so beautiful, and I loved it so much.
Adam loves Canada. I've never been to Canada. But his parents lived there for a while, so he's been there, and he's yelling from the other room, "I'd go back in a heartbeat."
Never get the chance. Like I said, I was in Vancouver, and Vancouver is very similar. I'm in the Bay Area, San Francisco area. It's kind of like practically the same
Yeah.
so as Vancouver. But with that being said, I had a blast. It was me and my two best friends. We actually went there for a convention.
Nice.
It was LTX, Linus Tech Expo.
Oh, yep.
As I am a
Adam
huge tech nerd.
Adam is a Linus person as well. He
Oh
watches a
yeah,
lot of
it's so
his
great.
videos. Yep.
But so we went there, and
I
my
wouldn't have
two
had
friends
any
are not.
idea who he was if Adam didn't watch him, but
Yeah, well, he's so big, it's like hard to miss his name at this point. But yeah, we went there, and I didn't know how it would go because my two friends are not tech people, and I kid you not, I did not want to leave at all. I was just having so much fun. I think we were only there for like 3 days, but it was just one of the best times I've had in my life. So that's, I think, where I would go if I were to leave
Canada.
the US. In case the US government wants to know.
Yeah. Yeah, they're probably monitoring me, I'm not going to lie. I'm not exactly subtle about my politics.
Yeah, well, I don't get too into it, but I'm also, very against the current government situation. So there's that.
Yeah. All right. I think I've spoken longer with you than I did with anyone else, probably because we keep tangenting, but that's okay.
I'm really good at it.
It's fine. The whole point is for people to get to know you, so
Yeah.
That's
I'm sorry to Adam for having to edit this because I've edited videos. This is the stuff that makes it hard.
He'll probably do it after I'm in bed, so I won't hear him swearing.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like the audience to know about you or your character? Anything at all? It's a hard question, I know.
That is a great question. Can I plug something? Is that okay?
Sure. Go for it.
I run a school, Dungeoneering school.
Oh, yeah.
I teach kids D&D, and it's all online right now due to the current climate.
Oh, yes, of course it is. Yeah.
So if you know any kids that are interested, we did just have current class signups, but in probably, I think it's like 8 weeks or so from now, signups will open up again, and yeah, you should go check it out. www.dungeoneringschool.com.
Sweet.
I think that's, and go Levistus.
That's Kelvin's one.
That's Kilven, exactly.
You're like, help kids play D&D. Also, yay, devils.
Yeah. Maybe not.
Way to perpetuate a stereotype there.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. Whoops.
It's fine. As long as you're not actually playing in a basement, it should be all right.
No. It's true.
All right.
But,
Cool. Thank you very much for your time tonight. I know it's like stupid o'clock where you are, and you should probably go to bed.
Won't go to bed for another like 3 hours. So
Oh my God.
that was actually why I signed it for this time.
I don't understand people like you. I'm like in bed by 9 o'clock every night.
You know what's funny?
But
my best friend is the same way, which is hilarious. Since I'm complete opposite, I don't understand how we're best friends, but it works.
Me and Adam are like that. I'm like we were saying when we were doing the hit points thing, we were like, actually people can hit us up almost anytime. There's like 4 hours of the day where we're both asleep, and that's us. Because I wake up at like 4:45 in the morning and do all my work first thing, because that's when my brain works the best. And then at like 3 in the afternoon, I turn into a potato and I can't do anything useful. So I'm actually doing quite well for a potato tonight, I think.
Yeah,
I had a nap this afternoon.
I actually stayed up late kind of normally, but I guess this isn't as late for you. I mean, it's like what, 8 p.m.
It's 8:30 here.
Yeah,
so it's not too bad. But yeah, but he is a complete night owl. So he would happily sleep until 10 in the morning and then stay up half the night. So
you know what's funny? Another tangent, but I had a job, my last job specifically, where I had to be up at like 7 a.m. or whatever because I had to be there at 8. Mm-hmm. I would get 8 hours of sleep and I would be freaking exhausted. And it wasn't until that job, the business closed, so I kind of took like a month off to relax, and I started sleeping in, and it was so funny how I would get the same amount of sleep but feel way more rested because I was waking up later in the day.
I
don't.
legitimately, yeah, I legitimately
I
think
don't
there are actually morning people and night owls, and that's a thing. And I also have a theory that they end up together because of some sort of primitive someone has to be on watch all the time thing, right? Because
That's
how
a
many
good point,
I know
actually.
so many couples that are like that. Like one's a night owl and one's a morning person. I'm telling you, I'm onto
I
something.
I
Evo
will.
psych.
I'll keep that in mind because I'm not
Go find
currently
yourself a
dating
morning
anyone,
person.
so I do not have someone to compare that to. But I do see where you're coming from, and I know. I mean, one of my other best, one of the friends that went with me to Canada, that's how his relationship is. He's a
Yeah,
night owl, and she
I
gets
think a
up at
lot of people end up that
5
way.
a.m. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway,
good
that
point.
was another tangent. You can apologize to Adam for having to edit all our tangents.
Sorry, Adam. I hope you enjoy it. Hopefully, it's kind of funny.
I think
That's
so. I think so.
I
I think it's entertaining.
but condolences because it's rough. Maybe you like editing, maybe you love editing, and maybe this is the stuff you live for. So, I hope so because I don't like editing. I've done it several times. I'm good.
Yeah, he volunteered, so it's his own fault. I shouldn't
Oh,
say
yeah,
that.
that
I'm
is
gonna
his
get
own
into
fault.
trouble. All right. You're
All right, well,
awesome. Thank you for coming on this journey with us. It's been great
thank you.
fun, and it's awesome to have you along for the ride.
Thank you.
And
Appreciate it.
hopefully lots of people will go and join your dungeoning school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope so too. If
sweet.
I had an ad made, I would have sent you one, but I
You
still
should
don't
do
have
that
one, so
at
I
some point.
should honestly. Um,
Cool. No more
we're gonna go on
tangents.
another tangent.
He has to
Yeah, I know,
stream now.
right?
I was like,
No,
it's
it's
not going to
okay.
take long. We'll be done really quickly. 36 minutes
Yeah.
later. Everybody else has been
Well,
like 20 minutes.
oh well.
You're a chatterbox. That's fine.
I'm a chatterbox. I got it from my
That's all
mom.
good.
So true.
Sweet. All right.
Oh,
You have an
all right.
awesome night. And yeah, I will see you on Saturday.
For half of it, for part of it.
Yeah.
I have my class in the middle of part of it, but
Yeah.
I'll be there as kind of the first half of it.
Cool.
Speaking of which,
Mm-hmm.
can I tell you now? I went with
Wait,
the
wait.
5
Let me
points.
let me let me stop hitting the
Sorry,
record button. Say bye.
that makes sense.
Bye.
Goodbye.